No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, and I'm in here once again with young Gleesh. How you feeling, man?
Hello, Gleesh, shitbag shouty.
It's funny to think about, like, the first time I ever interviewed you, I was asking you shit like what Mo meant, which I'm sure you still get asked all the time. But I was like, what's up with the Mo thing?
Yeah, Mo. I remember when I first met you, you was like downtown at that low ass shop, and this was before y'all was in Hollywood and shit. And Zach brought me in there. He's like, man, you gotta do something with these niggas. I never heard of you niggas or nothing, right? He's like, you gotta do something with these niggas, right? And then we came in there, talk about my case. And then my lawyer's like, nah, dub that shit.
Your lawyer called me saying the N-word in the morning, like super crazy, hard R.
He's white.
Old-ass Jewish dude, just like, he's talking about shooting. I'm like, it's like 9 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, all right. I was geeking when I got that interview with you because I was really listening to you like nonstop. I remember I had a girl come and stay with me, and she actually tweaked out on me. She was like, I thought I was coming to LA and I was going to get to do some nice shit. And instead, you got me in Skid Row. We listened to the same Young Gleesh tape 10 times. I just remember that she was mad as fuck, and she actually like called it that. It was so funny.
I remember this how I knew like y'all was something, because I never heard of y'all, right? When we didn't put out the interview, and it was like became some rare shit or some like mythology type shit, Gleesh No Jumper shit. Motherfuckers was still like 2 years, 3 years later, like, where's that No Jumper Gleesh interview? I was like, bro, I ain't never had nobody ask about an interview like for 2 years. Like, nobody cares about that shit, bro. That's how I knew it was something different with y'all.
That was an important moment for me too, because that meant that it was like a moment where I had to make the decision, like, do I want to do the right thing and like, you know, basically do what was right for you in your case, or do I want to be a dick and just put it out anyway? And I was like, nah, you know, I gotta abide by the code and do the right thing, you know.
For me before that, yeah, because you like at that moment you could have put it out, and we didn't even say anything.
It really wasn't bad. It was just
that bad. It was just still we were dealing with a case.
You were saying regular ass rapper shit, and then your lawyer heard it, and it's like he didn't give a fuck about the case they were talking about. You said one thing early on. You said, you know, motherfuckers don't understand. We grew up shooting at N-words. He heard that. He was like, boom, done. Like, exactly. It ain't coming out. I'm like, that's the most regular rapper shit you ever heard.
Nah, he was smart because they used everything when we went to court and trial. They were using pictures of my tour, like tour promotion pictures and shit. It wasn't even nothing.
Oh, like some random picture of you with a gun or something?
That had nothing to do with nothing. So it was like, damn, y'all. Why that?
A lot of the most normal like rapper promotional things are just regular ass shit. Having a gun in the videos, like if you get a case that could just come back to get you so hard.
The jury was so crazy. Like when we were picking the jury, first of all, it was 60 to 70 or 80 people to pick through a jury selection. They were all white.
In Texas too, right?
In Texas, right? Austin, Texas, and. There were some jury, like, they had, like, the judge had to dismiss them because of the biasness that they had. They were like, some jury was like, I think all rappers are sexual predators or sexual deviants or something. There was another jury like, I work security at a club, and whenever we have rap shows, they're always more rowdy, and it's just like the perception of rappers.
But that's funny because they're just saying that shit so that they don't have to do jury duty, right? Like, if you didn't want to have to do jury duty, you would say that too. You'd walk in like, I hate all white people. Fuck, get me out of here.
Because actually what happened was, it was something like that, right? It was more, like when I was watching the jury selection, it felt like school. And it felt like the people that were saying stuff were the people that wanted to sit in the front of the class and raise their hand and talk to the teacher and be the teacher's pet, right? And it felt like the people that didn't say anything were like the people that sat in the back and just was there for the ride. Right, those were the worst people, and those were the people that we actually got on the jury. A lot of people that didn't say too much, or didn't say too much of, like, didn't want to throw themselves off and seem some type of way. So a lot of people just snuck on the jury because they just ain't say too much.
This shit is crazy because this is like 3 years ago or longer, right?
That was 2015.
2015, and so then you finally actually had to go to court for it. So how would you describe the charges that you were actually facing? Because this is the stuff that we talked about in that first interview that never came out.
Well, actually, when we first did the interview, I was only charged with one charge, the first initial one in 2015. I was charged with penetration. they added a second charge to it 2 years later, in like 2017, when DNA came back and inconclusive, there was no DNA on her vaginal, none of my DNA on her vaginal, no DNA anywhere. And then they changed the charge. They added a charge of, what was it? Oral.
Okay.
Right? And then I got a third charge added 10 days before trial, because in Texas, apparently, they can add as many charges as they want, like on the same level or lesser, until like 10 days before trial. And during trial, they can add a lesser. So 10 days before trial, they tried to give me another deal, because throughout those few years, they kept offering deals, and I wasn't taking any of them deals. You know
The deals that they were offering, was it like you would do some short amount of jail time, or?
No, all the deals was like probation, you know, because when you cop, they're not trying to give you jail time unless your shit's like a very heinous crime or some shit like that.
And did you even think about taking any of the deals?
Nah, I wasn't worried about it. Nah, I was straight. Some of them deals was like probation and shit, but they all had registration. So
you have to register as a sex offender and shit?
Fuck all that. Like, nah, fuck that shit. Like, exactly, nah, hell no.
Yeah, and because then for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to go around, and you'll be like, yeah, you didn't take it to trial. You kind of,
yeah. For my shit with the conviction, I got to do the time of my probation as registered plus 10 years later.
Right.
So it's been 18 years.
Jesus Christ.
But the kill is, what I was saying was about the third charge. When I denied their last offer, they added that third charge. They added the fourth charge of attempted, which I was convicted of during trial. They added that during trial when the prosecutor had the DNA expert on the stand, and the DNA expert said that there was another male's DNA specimen in her vagina and in her underwear.
So they realized that there wasn't any evidence to link you towards any actual sexual assault, so they accused you of attempted.
Yeah, but not even that. It was the jury, because right now what I'm doing right now, I'm fighting an appeal.
Okay.
Right?
So you appealed their verdict.
Yeah, right? So that's that's why I can't really talk about the incident. We can talk about court more than anything, right? But I'm fighting an appeal, and within the first week of retaining my appeal lawyer, we find out that the juror compromised my conviction, and that's a violation to my constitutional rights. And it's improper misuse of jury conduct.
So what exactly did he do that violated the situation?
So basically, it's like if 11 jurors said he guilty, right? They want to say he guilty, right? But one is like, nah. But then they like, all right, just say he guilty and we'll give him probation. So two things are happening right now, right? One, they're discussing punishment before they even find out, they even decide if it's guilty or not. So they're worried about how much time and what type of punishment someone's gonna get before they even find out if they're guilty, right? On top of, you're compromising the conviction by like, okay, if y'all just give him probation, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's supposed to be two different distinct phases. There's the actual decision on if somebody's guilty or not, and then there's the punishment.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what happened in mine. But in mine, it wasn't 11 and 1. It was more jurors that just didn't believe, but they all just compromised. So that was that crazy.
So this is this thing that's been just like torturing you for the fucking past 4 years, just following you around. You can't relax. You can't chill out fully because you always had to be thinking about this. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no question. That's really why I fell off and fell back from the industry, and I just like needed time to myself because it's a lot to deal with. You know what I mean?
Do you feel?
I didn't do anything, you know what I mean? Not like, just crazy as shit.
Did you feel like after that incident that the industry sort of blackballed you or stopped supporting you in a way because of that?
Yeah, no question. It was endless deals, endless corporations, endless promoters, endless that just stopped fucking with me. You know what I mean? It was like, damn. And the crazy thing was, it took me about 3.5 years to really actually confirm it was because of my case that I was dealing with.
Right.
Like somebody actually came out and was like, look, this is what it is. We can't fuck with you and we want to, but our high ups did due diligence and it's like,
Right.
it's crazy.
Because your situation happened to you at like the worst possible time where you were right in the process of blowing up when this shit happened. And I feel like a lot of people sort of took it at face value that they assumed that you were guilty because it was reported that your manager left you at that time. Was that accurate? That happened?
Yeah, not only did he leave me, he made the only public statement from my camp. So I found out that he left me through that public statement. He called up the fader and made a like statement saying about what I had a show after, whatever he said in it. And he was like, he doesn't work for me. But it started off as Gleesh's camp saying this, that, and the third. He had a show after this, that, and the third. But his manager resigned and doesn't work for him right now. And that's how I found out that he didn't work for me anymore.
Right.
So it's crazy. I still actually haven't talked to him since then. Like we talked through middlemen, but I haven't really talked to him.
And did you go on the run after that, or what was the situation with that? Because you left Texas, right?
Nah, I didn't leave Texas. What I did was retained a lawyer. That's what white people do.
Or anyone who's concerned with not going to jail, yeah?
Yeah, I retained a lawyer, and then we went and did a walkthrough. So we did my turn in and did a mug shot and all that extra. But the way the police tried to make it seem like I ran from them, and that's what they were supposed to do because that's their fucking job. So
That's wild. They were all like eager to really paint you as being guilty before there was any kind of evidence, huh?
In the case for them, in my trial, their point of they're trying to make a point was of how I ran. They said that I left a suitcase on the side of the road, right? My lawyer pulled up one of the officers' dash cam, and they shows that my manager was pulling the suitcase into an Uber. The officer pulled up right there and at that time, stopped my manager from doing it, pulled the suitcase out of the Uber, made the Uber drive leave, and then that was their thing. It was like, oh yeah, Gleesh left his suitcase and left the scene, and he's on the run right now. But it's on camera on the police dash cam showing him pull my bag out and leave it on the curb.
Crazy.
The case crazy. Like, there's so much other crazy stuff in that case. It's like.
And was it the girl's choice to continue to press charges, or was it the state?
It wasn't a civil case. It was a criminal case.
Really?
So it was always going to be the state's, like, decision.
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
And it was just a prosecutor who just wanted her percentage up. You know what I mean? Wanted her crime conviction rate, her, you know what I mean, her lockup.
So you were found guilty of the attempted assault, and then they gave you probation, and now you're appealing it? That's correct?
Yeah, but how many people do you know fight a trial? Because I didn't cop out, right? I didn't take any deals throughout the whole trial, even in trial. I fought the whole way through.
They're supposed to lock you up if you're going to fight the whole thing, right?
You get conviction, and you get probation, and I'm black in Texas, in America.
And a rapper.
That's unheard of.
Right.
On a regular, just on some regular, that's why people cop. Because if you lose, they're going to throw the book at you. They're going to give you 100 years, they're going to give you the max.
And you thought you were facing many years in jail during this?
Oh, yeah, no question. That's really what was taking a toll on me. It was like, damn. It was like, I could turn up with my music and, like, turn up with my career, and then they'd use that against me, first of all, and be like, oh, yeah, he got all this power, and he doing this, he taking advantage and doing all this other shit, and then they take everything I just made, take it from me. And I'd be like, damn, I'd be more sick down in jail, like, knowing I just had something right there in front of me, and then they just snatch it from me. I'd rather just shitbag it and just sit with nothing, and y'all take nothing. I could sit down.
Because you were thinking that if you went and earned a bunch of money, they were going to take it from you regardless.
It ain't about the money, more about like just my legacy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Money it's always money everywhere.
Just having somebody do that to your name.
Yeah, it's really that.
It hurts.
It's like, oh, that shit the worst thing ever, because it's like, them the two things I despise most in life. Snitches and rapists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fuck with that shit, Joe. I really don't fuck with, like, I don't get down like that.
And to have everybody just associate you with like the worst thing you can imagine.
Exactly.
And people don't understand how much it hurts just to know that people think that about you and that you can't really do anything to disprove it.
And now, even with the court and trial, it's like the way the system's set up with the judge and the state knowing that my case was compromised. Like, there's laws in Texas right now. It's like you can get an appeal if you find out misconduct by jury, right? But then there's another law that contradicts that and says you can't bring any evidence finding out what type of misconduct it was. So we had hired an FBI private eye detective, right? Retired FBI private eye, but he's like a private eye detective now, right? But he used to be FBI, whatever. We hired him. He contacted the juror, a couple of them, and we found out that they compromised my conviction. But apparently, we probably won't even be able to use that because the law says that there's no way to use evidence to say that that's what you found out about the juror.
Right.
It's crazy, that shit.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So now you're just stuck trying to appeal this, but let's say that the appeal doesn't work. How do you feel about the sentence that you were handed down of the probation and whatnot?
8-year probation. Like I said, you got to register as a sex offender for those 8 years plus 10 years after that. So that's 18 years. Then I'd have to get my probation transferred to where I live. And I live out here. But when I tried to get my shit, right before I appealed, I tried to get my shit transferred out here. And this was like right before, this was this was the Friday before Christmas break, 2018. Friday before Christmas break, the California probation parole contact me. They supposed to contact my probation officer down in Texas. They contact me and say, oh yeah, we denying it. And what they was denying was my right to come out to California to show them my living status, my paper registration for my house and my car, and like showing them that I live out here and shit, like so they could build a case and see if they like if I'm legible for them to be like, oh yeah, let's accept them or not. They dubbed me before they even said any of that shit. And basically what I think it was like the week before Christmas, so she just ain't want to have on that paperwork load and shit. So she just was like, fuck that shit type shit.
So you're walking away from all this just feeling like the system's completely fucked, way worse than you ever could have known beforehand.
I knew it was crazy, but it's so crazy because like there's so much other things. Like I got a documentary I'm working on to explain the whole shit, right? But it was so much other shit that went into this case that, like, even for the jury not to believe, you know what I mean? They didn't, like, that's what they said. They didn't believe the prosecution's side. They didn't believe anything. They just thought something happened. But they don't know what happened. That's literally what they told my lawyer after trial. That's literally what they told the private eye guy that called 2-3 weeks or a couple months after my conditioning. And then it's like, I don't know, bro. I don't trust the system. I've been ain't trusted. And then going into the trial, the prosecutor's like, I trust the jury. I trust the system. Like, I bet you do. Like, I bet you do trust it. And it's all white jury. 60 people. Not one black person. To pick 12, not one black person.
And do you feel like the community that would otherwise be rallying around you is just kind of silent because of the nature of the charges?
Yeah.
Saying people that would be rooting for Meek Mill aren't going to come out of the woodwork for you because of the nature of it?
It's another case that just happened, Mo. Like 2-3 weeks ago. This shit crazy. And I like feel blessed. At first I felt like I lost and I was like, man, this shit over with. Like, damn, bro, this shit. They got me on some fuck shit, right? But it's another case in Kansas or Arkansas, a guy named Albert Wilson. He just got convicted of rape. Mm-hmm. His case so much similar. He go to a bar. He 20 years old. He get caught with a fake ID. He got a fake ID. A white girl go to the bar. She's 17 years old. She, or I don't know, 17 or 18. She didn't have an ID. She didn't even get caught. Boom. They both at a bar underage. They start kissing at the bar. They leave, go to his joint. They go to his joint. Whatever happened, I don't know what happened. They was in it for 5 minutes. This is on camera. They see, the camera shows how long they went to his house and went back. His house was literally like across the street from the bar or something. So they go to his house. He get a phone call that his friend's doing something at the bar. So he leave within 5 minutes, right? He never had sex with the girl or nothing.
And they're both underage.
They're both underage. He never had sex with her.
Right.
He kissed her on the dance floor or kissed her at the house or whatever it was. He never had sex with her. It was 5 minutes. They go back to the bar. She claimed rape. He's convicted right now, and he's in jail, and he's doing 12 years.
The fuck?
Right now. He just got convicted like 3 weeks ago.
Crazy.
He's doing 12 years right now. And all he did was kiss this girl. But it's not even that he's in jail for kissing a 17-year-old, like some pedophilia shit. No, he's in jail for raping her. Like, that's his charge. His crime is forcing himself on another.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's not the first time that I heard a shit like that in rap, too. There's a dude, South Park Mexican, that used to be big in the late 90s, and they fucking locked his ass up for like 20 years or some shit, and his main charge was that he got a 14-year-old pregnant, but she was a stripper. Like, she's working in the strip club. He starts hanging out with her. He knocks her up. He's locked up for fucking forever for this shit. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, that's different, though.
No, definitely, yeah. But at the same time, she's a stripper. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I assume the strip club's going to be fucking checking IDs.
I don't know. I'd tell a 14-year-old, though.
No, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's different. No, yeah. But so... How do you feel now? Do you still feel the same weight over your head? Like, now that, you know, you're not happy with the result, but you are, at least you know what the result is.
The past few days, I just been like trying to accept it. Cause at first we was like, I don't know. Like, lately I just been trying to learn to accept it, cause it's really, this world so shitty that we can see injustice. We can see all the fucked up shit. Bro, there's literally genetically modified fruit and food being sold at grocery stores and people eating that shit. Like, it's accepted. Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's out crying about it. Nobody's saying anything. Like, you gotta watch the fruit like it's a fruit. If the fruit has 5 numbers on it, starting with a 9, it's organic. If it has 4 numbers, starting with a 4 or a 3, the shit is genetically modified. And people is eating this shit. There's nobody doing anything about it. Trump's in office. Like, that man, Albert Wilson, is locked up for this shit. What is anybody doing anything about it? You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to get behind somebody, even if they're like clearly the victim in the situation. Nobody wants to get behind them because of the nature of it, because they don't want to be accused of supporting somebody who would do such a thing, you know?
Niggas is fake. This shit fake. Everybody wait till the nigga die. Everybody wait till nigga something happen, and then they want to be about this whole movement and all these movements and shit. And y'all ain't doing nothing but canceling nigga on Instagram. Movement don't do shit in the streets. Y'all don't stop nothing. Y'all ain't trying to do nothing different. You motherfuckers still want to work a job. You still want to work for the government. You still want to be a part of this motherfucking system. So ain't shit gonna change. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta learn to accept it. Cause you motherfuckers crazy.
Does it make you like refocus on the people that you're actually friends with that aren't gonna believe some bullshit about you, or what does it do to you?
Know what's up. Niggas like the shit that will fuck me up the most because I was thinking motherfuckers gonna think something different of me. But everybody know, and everybody keep trying to tell me and shit. But it's like, you know, the internet and everything. Like ain't nobody been tripping on me on the shit like this. Like you know what I mean? Like. I ain't getting no hate or nothing.
I remember searching Gleesh on Twitter when the news came out about the verdict and like trying to see if people were talking shit, and it was not really.
Yeah, it wasn't like it's not that much. Like people, ain't nobody really on that shit. Niggas know what's up with me.
Right.
It's just I was convicted in front of 12 white people that are 40 years old, 30, over 30, and already had perception of black people. Already had perception of rappers. Already, if not, already had a perception of me. You know what I'm saying? So, and let everybody else tell it that's the system that everybody believes in, and they trust so much. This the government y'all pay taxes to. These the folks y'all vote. This y'all prosecuting y'all community.